This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
Good morning to you on this Tuesday, December 9th. Thanks for staying with us here for Sunrise Extra.
Yeah, it is a chilly, well, I won't even say chilly. I want to say just straight up cold morning out there. Mm-hmm. Can you smell cold? Because I smelled it was cold this morning. You know the smell.
Yeah.
My nose hairs are frozen.
Yeah, we can't smell anything. I can smell it. I think there's a specific smell with it too. I'm convinced you all.
I mean,
good.
You know what? Good. Hey, we're going to roll with it because, yeah, either way, whether you can smell it or not, it's cold out there. We're dealing with temperatures mainly in the 20s to start off the day, and that wind is going to kick up throughout the day. So that means right now we're seeing wind chills in the teens and the low 20s, and as the afternoon goes along, we're only going to feel like near the freezing mark. Now, plenty of clouds overhead, some flurries flying this morning. We'll see some sunshine getting through those clouds this afternoon with highs today only in the low to mid 40s at best. Now, let's talk a little bit about the wind, because that wind will be gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour through the late morning and into the afternoon. So that means all of our area roadways will be affected by the wind later on today, but at least it's light for right now. Rob.
Tawana, thanks so much. Good morning, everybody, at 7:01. Hopefully your morning is starting out on a good note. Again, it's frigid out there. You're going to need the jackets, the hats, the seat warmers, definitely a necessity. But the big picture, not looking too bad. 71 and 265, nice clear conditions out there. No tie-ups or accidents to talk about right now. The big picture showing a lot of green on the map around the metro. We certainly like that. No reports of any type of accidents or slowdowns because of disabled vehicles at this time. Certainly you're going to want to watch your speed, but your drive times, they are still looking great at this point. We're talking 10 minutes and under on the 65, and again to the right, a lot of green in there in the picture, so we hope that stays throughout the morning. We'll keep you posted. By the way, though, we do have a heads up for Louisville drivers. The left lane of the Gene Snyder, it's going to be closed. That's starting tonight. Now, this is between New Cut Road and National Turnpike. We've learned that crews are going to be fixing concrete slabs within that area. Workers hoping to have everything reopened by noon this coming Thursday. Shannon.
Thank you. We could know by the end of this week if an attempt to redraw congressional maps in Indiana passes. The bill passed out of a Senate committee last night. A final vote on the bill in the full Senate is expected for Thursday. Governor Mike Braun says changes in Indiana are part of an effort to create more Republican seats in Congress. He says Democrats in other states have won more seats in Congress based on gerrymandered districts. Indiana Democrats say that these proposed maps cheat the system and will diminish representation. One Republican Senator Greg Walker of Columbus crossed the aisle to vote no on moving the bill forward. Senate President pro tempore Roderick Bray has said that the Senate Republican caucus does not have the votes to support redistricting.
LMPD says a man is in jail months after a deadly shooting at a Louisville apartment complex. Timothy Garmany is charged with murder, domestic violence, abuse of a corpse, and tampering with physical evidence. Police say he shot and killed 61-year-old Melinda Doolin at the Avenue Plaza Apartments on South 8th Street. Garmany was arrested for this case as he showed up to court for another case on Monday. His bond has been set at $100,000.
Tonight, JCPS meets to discuss the possibility of closing several schools in order to offset that budget shortfall.
Board members have called for a pause on the idea of a potential final vote. Rob Wells is back with a closer look. Rob.
Hi, Olivia. The JCPS board chair and vice chair say that they plan to introduce a motion to pause at tonight's meeting. Just last month, Superintendent Dr. Brian Yearwood announced plans to close Liberty High and Zachary Taylor Elementary, and also to consolidate King Elementary students into Maupin Elementary. The district right now in the midst of discussions to offset a $188 million budget deficit. Community forums reveal that many parents disagreed with discussions to close buildings. In response, it's expected that the board will ask Dr. Yearwood to set aside more time and thought. Board of Education Vice Chair James Craig tells Wave News that he feels being transparent over the full scope of what cuts could be coming to the district is a priority. Meanwhile, parents and community members are not holding back on their concerns.
Why are we the ones being looked at for closure?
I'm asking you tonight to look beyond enrollment numbers, to look beyond budget lines, and to consider the human cost, please keep our school open.
Dr. Yearwood responded to the request for motion for a pause, saying that he's grateful that the board chair and vice chair recognize that this is a proposal and is significant and deserves the highest level of care along with consideration. Of course, we'll be at that meeting this evening. We're going to keep you posted on what we learn, both on air and online. Shannon.
Thanks, Rob. Louisville Congressman Morgan McGarvey says he's hopeful a new attempt to pass a bill named after Breonna Taylor will be approved by his fellow lawmakers. The Justice for Breonna Taylor Act would require officers to identify themselves and their purpose before serving a warrant. Officers at the scene where Taylor was killed in 2020 said they did announce themselves. However, Taylor's boyfriend, who was there as well and returned fire, says they did not. This is not the first time Representative McGarvey has pushed for the legislation. He and Senator Rand Paul tried to get the bill passed last year. We asked McGarvey why he thinks this time might be different.
Sometimes things in Washington take time, but we're continuing to build the right groups of people and making sure that Democrats and Republicans, urban and rural legislators understand this is something that can impact everybody. You know, the reality is these no-knock warrants don't keep people safe.
Representative McGarvey is planning to be joined by Breonna Taylor's mother, Tamika Palmer, to introduce the bill this Wednesday in D.C.
A group of Kentucky lawmakers is trying to push federal lawmakers to create a plan to extend existing Affordable Care Act tax credits. U.S. senators are expected to meet Thursday to vote on a Democratic Party proposal that would extend the credits for 3 years. Without the extension, the cost of health care premiums for millions of Americans is expected to spike. Kentucky Governor Andy Beshear says Congress should understand that Kentucky's people and economy depend on the program. He says hospitals will get fewer dollars from private insurance companies, and many hospitals, especially those in rural areas, have already taken a hit from Medicaid cuts.
The idea that this Congress would vote to extend tax cuts for the wealthy, but not tax credits for hardworking Americans so that they could see a doctor, that's just wrong. Healthcare is a basic human right.
Many Republican leaders have been critical of the Affordable Care Act since its creation, but in December they promised to hold a vote as part of a deal with Democrats to reopen the government after the historically long shutdown. At the same time, a local nonprofit fears federal funding cuts will lead to struggling people losing the roofs over their heads. The local chapter of St. Vincent de Paul gets support from a federal government housing program, but leaders say the funding will be slashed by 70% next summer. Staff say they're committed to helping those in need, but they worry about the future.
There is no scenario where we do not have a setback in our attempts to try and end homelessness in Louisville and try and get people off of the street.
Currently, St. Vincent de Paul has 97 permanent housing units. When these cuts go into effect, they would only be able to support 30 units. Chapter leaders say they plan to meet with local and federal leaders to discuss alternatives.
Coming up, a new $12 billion relief package is on the way to help U.S. farmers.
What the money will be used for and how the White House says it'll be paid for. Today is our annual Angel-a-thon, partnering with the Salvation Army. There's a live look right now in our other studio where calls are coming in right now. And if you want to help out, you can call 502-571-3333 to support the Angel Tree. Right now, that money raised will go to specifically buying gifts for kids who might not have had their names taken off trees at local malls. So our hotline will be open all day long. It's open right now, so you can call whenever you want to. And you can also find a link to donate on wave3.com. But that'll certainly warm your hearts. Anything to warm you up right now.
Certainly will, yes. It is a cold day today.
It is certainly a cold day for sure. And I know all the kids at the bus stop probably look like the little mini Michelin men.
Right.
They have so many
I can't put my arms down.
They have that many layers on. Some kids don't bundle up.
There are some days, yes, some kids will wear shorts, but today is not that day, children. Today is not that day. What we are seeing right now, sitting in the 20s for most spots. Some of you have actually seen your temperatures rise early this morning as that southerly wind has tried to kick in. We are dealing with wind chills, though, in the upper teens and the low 20s to start off the day. As we head over the next 12 hours, climbing into the 40s for highs, but feeling only like the 20s and low 30s this afternoon because of some gusty winds that will be across our area. So the storm tracker seems like it's now off the roads back at the station, and we're dealing with plenty of clouds overhead. We've had some flurries flying at times this morning, especially with the cold temperatures that we are dealing with this morning. Just kind of squeezes any bit of moisture out of those clouds. But overall, one good thing is that we are looking at mainly quiet conditions for today. We do have that warm front moving through our area. It's part of the reason that we're going to see the wind kicking up for later on today. So over the next 12 hours, as I mentioned, we're going to see those temperatures climbing into the low to mid 40s for highs. The wind gusting between 20 and 30 miles per hour. The wind really increases overnight into tomorrow as a cold front approaches. And this front will be the catalyst to our rain chances for your Wednesday morning. So Wednesday morning, widespread rain. By Wednesday afternoon, some scattered rain showers. The front moves through. And then for Wednesday night, we switch over to some snow across our area. So we're going to keep some sort of precipitation chance throughout the day, but mainly talking rain for the daytime hours and then that light snow once we get into Wednesday night. Windy for tomorrow with wind gusts overnight tonight kicking up to near 35 miles per hour and staying that strong throughout the entire day on your Wednesday. We'll roll into Thursday and add in some snow chances. And we're not just talking the flurries flying for Thursday morning, but we're also going to see a better chance for some snow showers Thursday night into Friday morning. And this system right here will try to really bring some accumulations, especially for those of you further to the north and east of Louisville. It does look like some of that rain may switch over, snow should switch over to rain by the tail end of this, and we'll keep an eye on that. But yes, there is that potential for some more snow accumulations on Friday. We got into Saturday, and another system will try to bring us some more of that rain and snow. We'll also push your temperatures down into the 20s and 30s for highs on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I don't even know if frigid covers it, as we only see highs in the upper teens and low 20s on Sunday, dropping down into the single digits and low teens by Monday morning. So Monday morning, even colder. But we do see a steady and slow warm up by the middle of next week. And you know you're going to be cold for a while when you're looking forward to highs near 40 degrees.
Right. Thanks. A safety alert this morning. Blood pressure medication is being recalled because it may be cross-contaminated with another medication. Glenmark Pharmaceuticals recalled more than 11,000 bottles of the medicine under the brand name Zyac. Testing of reserve samples found traces of a cholesterol medication also made by that company. The Food and Drug Administration said the recalled packages are 30-count bottles, and they have an expiration date between November 2025 through May 2026. If you have that bottle, contact your doctor. The Federal Open Market Committee is today and tomorrow, and that's the Federal Reserve panel that will decide interest rates.
As its members look at economic data, they might also have an eye on the Supreme Court. Amy Kiley reports on why and how it might affect you.
The Federal Reserve might seem far away, but it impacts people at home, including the cost of literal homes. Today, the Fed is starting a two-day meeting in which it's expected to cut the federal funds rate. That would put downward pressure on interest rates for mortgages, auto loans, credit cards, and other debt. The central bank also tries to balance maximum employment with control of inflation. In other words, it affects people's jobs and the prices they pay. But many experts predict just a quarter-point cut tomorrow.
We shouldn't look to the Federal Reserve to solve all of our ills or believe that a small shift in interest rates can make a big difference.
The Supreme Court is considering a case that could affect the Fed. It challenges President Donald Trump's firing of a former FTC commissioner. The case could affect his power over other independent agencies like the Fed. A hearing yesterday suggests most justices might side with Trump.
Independent agencies are not accountable to the people.
There is no such thing in our constitutional order as a fourth branch of government that's quasi-judicial and quasi-legislative.
Trump wants to fire Fed board member Lisa Cook and fill the panel with loyalists. He wants to force a large rate cut regardless of economic data. Investors worry that would cause inflation to surge.
Former Fed officials and economists, they warn that artificially low interest rates can backfire.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
The job openings and labor turnover survey is also expected to be released today. It's one of the metrics the Fed can use to decide on interest rates.
Help for U.S. farmers is on the way from the White House in the form of a $12 billion aid package. Most of the aid will be directed to crop farmers through one-time payments under the Farmer Bridge Assistance Program. The remaining $1 billion will go to farmers whose crops fall outside of who the assistance program covers. President Trump says the aid package is possible due to money generated from tariffs. The Agriculture Secretary said money should begin flowing by the end of February.
President Trump is threatening Mexico with higher tariffs, saying the country is treating America's farmers unfairly. The president accuses Mexico of violating a 1944 treaty that details water distribution from the Colorado, Tijuana, and Rio Grande rivers. He accused Mexico of under-delivering water and threatened to impose an additional 5% tariff. The president says the lack of water is harming Texas farmers' ability to grow crops and raise cattle. Right now, the U.S. has imposed a 25% tariff on Mexico, but the vast majority of goods are exempt under the U.S.-Mexico-Canada Free Trade Agreement. A federal judge struck down President Donald Trump's executive order that revokes permits for new offshore wind farms. The judge said the order was arbitrary and capricious and a violation of federal law. President Trump issued the order in January, which halted all leasing of federal lands and waters for new wind farms. His actions came after 4 states have plans in the works to build more than a dozen large wind farms in the Atlantic Ocean. A coalition of 17 states went to court in May to challenge the president's order.
Jimmy Kimmel has renewed his contract with ABC to continue hosting Jimmy Kimmel Live. Kimmel signed a 1-year extension to take his late-night show through May 2027. Earlier this year, he was caught in the middle of the country's political divide when ABC executives temporarily pulled his show. The move came after his comments during a monologue about Charlie Kirk's suspected killer. Kimmel has been hosting the late-night show since 2003.
NASA is one step closer to having a new leader. A Senate committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation voted to approve Jared Isaacman for NASA Administrator. Isaacman is a billionaire entrepreneur and ally of Elon Musk. Isaacman's nomination now moves to the full Senate for a vote.
And still ahead here on Wave Extra, the future of a Louisville movie theater is unknown. Hear what the community is doing to try to save Baxter Avenue theaters. Well, there are some situations first responders will never forget, especially when children are involved.
Wave News anchor Myra Ansari brings us this good story about two little boys who got to thank the officers who saved their lives.
It's on a 1070 on Lana Drive. Supposed to be kids trapped in their house.
When LMPD officers got to Lana Drive on March 22nd, they could feel the chaos.
Is anybody else in the house? There's a baby in there.
The 911 calls came in as a house fire. Officers ran inside.
Immediately saw a small child outside, laying on the ground, neighbors outside frantic, saw the house smoking, and just immediately got out of our cars and ran in.
One went in and got fire extinguishers and got the gas line out so they could get down the hallway, while the other one searched the house.
Officers Jacob Capito and Joshua Richardson ran into the house. Visibility was near zero from the heavy smoke.
And as soon as we walked in, it was just an immense amount of heat that just took your breath away. There was no oxygen.
Determined to save the child, the officers and a neighbor named John Irvin in this red shirt climbed through a shattered bedroom window. That's when they found 6-year-old Colton Rayburn unconscious, curled near the glass, hands bloody from trying to escape. The courageous neighbor passes Colton out the window.
And then we were able to get him out and then perform life-saving measures.
The Rayburn family lost everything that day. Their home was in ashes. 6-year-old Colton and 8-year-old Camden suffered severe burns and spent weeks in the hospital. Healing physically and emotionally takes time. Thankfully, children are resilient, and this story has a happy ending. Officers Capito and Richardson finally met Camden and Colton face to face.
They saved you from the fire, remember?
Unfortunately, a lot of time we see people at their worst, then we make the next call for service, the next call for service, the next call for service. There's never any follow-up or closure that we get notified unless it gets even worse for some reason.
I just wanted to be sure that at least we got to be able to get back in touch with them and let them know that we're appreciative of that we recognize the risk, the emotional damage, the physical pain, the stress, all the factors involved.
At the reunion, there weren't many dry eyes as the boys handed the officers small gifts. A simple, powerful gesture of thanks. The boys, who months earlier were fighting for every breath, are now smiling and stronger than ever. And for the officers, they rarely get to see the long-term impact of the lives they touch. This time, they did.
Like having kids cry seeing you is like, it's a different feeling. I mean, I would do it again.
Eric Rayburn, the boy's father, says his boys celebrated a birthday recently, and he's grateful his sons got to do that thanks to the officers. He also has 2 other sons who thankfully escaped the fire that day. The Rayburn family says they lost their home, but they had to find another place to live. But the important part is they are all alive.
Wow, yeah, and that video just shows you how scary those moments were.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we'll be right back.
This Wave News update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Hi there. Good morning to you. I'm Shannon Kogan. Today is our annual Angel-a-thon, where Wave News teams up with the Salvation Army, and you can help. Call 502-571-3333 to support that program right now. Your money will go to buy gifts for children who might not have had their name taken off the tree at local malls. The hotline is open all day long. We have volunteers here ready to take your phone call that helps thousands of children in our community every single year. You can also go to wave3.com to get more information. Let's send it over to Tawana right now, and making a donation will certainly warm your heart.
It will warm your heart, and you need to warm up as much as you can on a morning like this. We're seeing temperatures right now mainly in the 20s, but we're feeling like the upper teens and low 20s across the area. So keep that in mind as you're getting ready for today. Plenty of clouds overhead, but some sunshine getting through those clouds there on our SkyTrack camera in Bardstown. Continuing to watch more of those clouds drifting on by, some flurries around for this morning, but we do see a mix of sun and clouds showing up for later on this afternoon, with highs today in the low to mid 40s. So we will warm up quite a bit as we also deal with wind gusts between 20 and 30 miles per hour. As we look ahead to the next 10 days, we are going to be talking about a little bit more of that rain for your Wednesday, some snow on Thursday and Friday, and even more of that wintry weather getting into the weekend. Rob?
Thanks so much. And at 7:20, it is a chilly start up there, as she was just saying. But the good part is smooth sailing on the local roads and interstates. Keeping our eyes, though, on one area that we want to talk to you about. We're talking about 265 West, the ramp at I-65 South. Reports about in the last 10, 15 minutes of a one-car crash in that area. So certainly watch your speed. The bigger picture, though, looking pretty good. A lot of green on the map. Certainly watch your speed and make sure to buckle up. We'll see you in 25 minutes.
Good morning. Thanks for staying with us here for Sunrise Extra. I'm Olivia Russell. It is our Angel-a-thon day, so we have plenty of things to talk about. We'll have a live interview with them, plus some other interviews just talking about all the reasons to give today and how you can give throughout the day. So stick with us for that. Plus, we'll, of course, have sports headlines talking about new UK head coach Will Stein and diving deeper into his contract, plus that buyout from firing Coach Stoops as well. But first, we have a community group that wants to make sure Baxter Avenue Theater is part of any future plans to redevelop Mid-City Mall. The group says the space isn't just a theater, but a place for local artists to share their work. Wave News reporter Julia Richardson spoke to the group behind the petition that wants to keep the Baxter Avenue theaters open.
There's no other source of outward support for grassroots indie filmmaking in Louisville or even in like the state.
Emmett Swan is a Louisville filmmaker who tells me he's been coming to the Baxter Avenue theaters for more than a decade, both seeing films and showing some of his own. But when he recently reached out for one of his new projects, he was surprised at the response.
And I asked them about the availability of screening it in January of 2026, and they kind of shot back and said they didn't have any availability to share for that, and that was like a red flag for me.
Swan says learning about the possible future of Mid-City Mall, which houses the theater, forced him into action. He decided to start a petition called Save Baxter Avenue Theater. It has almost 5,000 signatures as of Monday night. Support has poured in, with many not only reflecting on what the theater has done for the film community, but also for the Highlands as a whole.
Beyond even filmmaking, I'm from this neighborhood. I live here, and my whole life this theater has been here. I think that it is part of the character that defines this neighborhood.
Caden Hanks tells me part of what makes the theater special is the memories and nostalgia it holds for those who have visited.
Everyone that lives around here understands the need for redevelopment to reinvigorize the neighborhood. But I think that if you are going to develop the area, the best thing you can do is try to take some of that character and move forward with it.
Dozens of filmmakers and theater regulars say the experience that the theater offers is irreplaceable. And now they hope someone, potential buyers included, listens.
It'd be like losing a limb or something. Like it just feels like such a huge part of my weekly life here. Whenever I come, I see somebody that I know, and that gives me the opportunity to talk to them about what we just saw or what we're about to see. And, to lose that, it would just be a detrimental loss.
Apex Entertainment, that's the owner of Baxter Avenue Theater, said in a statement that it's open for business, but they're evaluating the future of the space. Now, the supporters say the petition, they want to do a walk-in at the theater on Wednesday. They hope to fill the room for every showing on the schedule, and you can find out more about that on this story on wave3.com. Two companies are deciding to plant their roots right here in Louisville. Both are expected to create hundreds of jobs in the area. One company, Glove US, says it's making a $5.8 million investment with plans to create 200 jobs in 10 years. Glove US manufactures high-quality medical and surgical gloves. One of the big factors behind coming to Louisville was the UPS World Port and the logistics advantages it provides. Jefferson Community and Technical College will also play a role in training.
And now we are building a growing ecosystem of companies that are reshoring products and strengthening America's supply chain. Louisville is taking the lead, and part of that is thanks to this Glove US investment.
Company leaders say they plan to create 200 jobs over the next 10 years. A local tech company from New Albany has found its new home on the Kentucky side of the river. The AI company vSimple was founded by Louisville native Buddy Bockweg in New Albany 5 years ago with the goal of making mid to large-sized companies more efficient. Yesterday, they cut the ribbon on the new headquarters on River Road. Company leaders say they plan to make more than $5 million investment, and that's expected to bring around 200 new jobs. The company's CEO and founder says he feels it can be an example of how AI can benefit this region of the country.
And for a software business, Coast is where most of them are built. They don't know any company that's made something or built something or serviced something. They understand technology. Well, we understand the businesses that we serve. So it's nice to have a home where they physically live.
Bockweg also says he expects more AI and tech companies to come to Louisville and Kentucky overall. President Trump plans to sign an executive order blocking state AI regulations. He posted on social media, quote, "There must be only one rule book if we are going to continue to lead in AI." It comes as some states have passed laws to address potentially risky and harmful uses of AI. Critics worry the deregulation push could allow AI companies to evade accountability. Leaders in Silicon Valley have argued that state regulations could slow down innovation and affect America's competitiveness in the global AI race.
Everybody
We've
that
seen a
lives out here
number
is
of data
fond of the
centers
landscape.
proposed in more rural parts of Kentucky and Indiana. Now, one family is sharing just how much some companies are willing to spend on land they have their eyes on. One cattle farmer in Mason County, which is about an hour southeast of Cincinnati, says they were offered $35,000 per acre from a group representing a data center development. That adds up to an almost $8 million offer for their land. But the family says they have no intention of saying goodbye to their home.
If we feel like this thing needs to come here, make sure that everything is done right. We do not want to sell. The farm is my dad's, and it means everything to him.
The Mason County Joint Planning Commission is holding special meetings today and Wednesday, during which the public will have a chance to comment on the proposal. Miami Heat and former Louisville Cardinal Terry Rozier has pleaded not guilty to sports betting charges. Rozier was released on a $3 million bond after formally entering his plea to wire fraud and money laundering conspiracy charges. Prosecutors say Rozier conspired with friends to help them win bets on his performance in a March 2023 game when he played for the Charlotte Hornets. More than 30 people have been arrested in the illegal gambling operations linked to professional sports, and that includes several mafia figures. The court case between charitable gaming nonprofits, including Shirley's Way, and the Kentucky Horse Racing and Gaming Office is moving forward. Both sides met to schedule a hearing yesterday. Attorneys discussed how to go about the discovery process and set a date for a hearing in January. This all started after the Horse Racing and Gaming Office said scammers were tampering with machines used by Shirley's Way and other charitable gaming organizations. The Office of Charitable Gaming ordered the machines to be shut down and new procedures put in place. With a temporary order, a judge ruled those machines can stay open. Shirley's Way says losing the machines can impact several charities.
Not just us, but across the state. I would say over those 4 or 5 days of the games that was shut down, easily $1 million across the state was lost in mission revenue.
Attorneys for KHRG tell us they're ready to resolve this before a judge. The hearing dates are scheduled for January 26th and 27th. We're going to take a quick break and we'll be talking about our upcoming our Angelathon. It's happening right now, so stick with us here on Sunrise Extra. Thanks so much for staying with us here for Sunrise Extra. I promise you all we will be talking about the Angelathon. It's happening right now in our other studio, but I stole Jonathan Barfield for a few minutes here to talk about this because you're with the Salvation Army Development Director too. Welcome in.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so we've got to talk about Angelathon because you told me this is your first Angelathon.
Absolutely. It is a crazy time of year for everybody, but especially in the Salvation Army. This is our kind of go time with the bell ringing with the Angelathon. As it is my first year, it's been a whirlwind, but it's been great to see all the love we're getting from the community. I'm just happy to be here to promote the Angel-a-thon, and hopefully we can raise some dollars to take care of everybody this year.
So an Angel-a-thon, I mean, it's a full marathon too. Have they prepped you for this entire day and getting ready for all those calls that are coming in?
Yeah, absolutely. We're all over Louisville and Southern Indiana. So you're going to see a lot of Salvation Army today in your medias.
Okay, so let's talk about the angel tree, because right now a lot of the money that we're raising today will go to those angels who weren't picked up off those trees. How many angels sometimes go unanswered like that?
We're dealing with 7,000 angels that were requested to be filled. So we may some percent of that may have problems or weren't brought back, or missing items. So we certainly, a lot of the dollars we raised today go to what we call forgotten angels, which is where we can go to shop. So when we notice any of those angel bags that aren't necessarily full or don't have the items that were requested, we do have some stock in our warehouse to be able to fulfill those no matter what.
So just kind of filling that in, making sure everyone gets what they want for Christmas.
That's
too.
it. That's the good idea.
Okay. And so what's it like to just be part of something like this too? Because these kids and their parents fill out these wish lists too of what they want too. That's got to be the most rewarding part, giving them exactly what they want.
Absolutely. This is a months long process. Starting at the beginning of the school year, sending the request or the opportunity out to the families. We schedule interviews where we actually meet with every family, go down the list of what they're requesting, submit those tags, and then we turn over those angel requests to the community. That's where you adopt the angels in the store. You see what these families are wanting. And then we get it all back at the beginning of December, have to go through, sort it all. It is quite the amazing process. I've got an outstanding team out there helping do that. It is incredible to see.
So usually people think of the kids with the angel tree too, but ever since, I want to say it was COVID, right? When we started the Senior Angels
I believe
program.
so.
Tell us about that, because like I said, it's not just about the kids. There are other people out there who deserve the warmth and love of the Christmas spirit.
Yeah, a lot of times we do have seniors in our community that are not cared for as well as some of our kids get attention for. So we do have Senior Angels where we collect and purchase items to take care of some of the seniors in our community that are just needing things or needing some support or just some love.
Yeah, and I heard they're getting things like, maybe a coffee machine, slippers, just little things, not the toys, the tablets that little kids go after.
Yeah, some non-slip shoes, some blankets, some coats. A varying of requests, but obviously a little bit different from our toddlers.
And another kind of angel tree that we have, the food angels too, because people have probably walked past these at Kroger and been like, oh, I can help out in this way too. Tell us about the angel or the food angel program, because just scanning that code right there at the checkout can help a family have a holiday meal.
Absolutely. We do run a food pantry at the Salvation Army here in Louisville. We have a kitchen. So our food angels definitely go straight back in the community, providing meals and even take home food boxes for families throughout the year. So these food angels definitely go a long way to help the community beyond just the holiday season.
That's a great partnership that you all have with Kroger every year. I know I love seeing that every year, and the excitement of just people grabbing that as they're heading to check out. Okay. And then lastly, I want to talk about Angel Tree Distribution Day, because we are always part of this as well with WAVE, just watching the volunteers pack up those. Oh, there's John Bull right there too. He always loved being part of that. But I mean, you've only been in this position for 11 months. So is this your first distribution day too?
This will be my first distribution day. Talking to our volunteer coordinator, Trevor, who's fantastic, runs our warehouse. This is a coveted position for folks to come out and help volunteer. Clearly, this is where you get to see the smiles, the joy on the faces, the distribution, as in we're distributing all of our angels back to the families. So it's an outstanding time. I'm looking forward to experiencing it.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for joining us too. And thank you for all the work that you do, because like we said, this is a full team effort. And I'm sure it's more than just the few days that people usually see that you're doing all this work for.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for joining us. And we'll let you get back to the other studio to
the phones to answer.
Answer the phones, call the phones. You can do that throughout the day. Plus, you can go online to wave3.com and you can make your donation there. But we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with more Angel-a-thon stuff, plus some headlines in sports. Stick with us. Well, as we keep mentioning today, the Salvation Army is raising money to make sure every kid has a gift to open on Christmas. And several businesses in our area have also come together to help out. Wave News reporter Marissa Burke visited Mays Plastic Surgery, who are joining today's Angel-a-thon for the first time ever.
I'm at Mays Plastic Surgery, and you could say the gift of giving starts here because this is our first year participating with the Salvation Army's Angel Tree. I have Dr. Mays here, and tell me about your excitement for doing this for the first time.
Yeah, so the Angel Tree is something I've known about for years. My family and I have done it personally, but this year we had the opportunity to actually be one of the premier sponsors for such a great cause. We're super excited. As you can see, some of the work families here. So it's a big organization here, and we're happy to be a part of such a giving organization with the Salvation Army and the Angel Tree this year.
Absolutely. And I know for Major Hunter, seeing more businesses want to participate and help so many kids and families in this area just warms your heart.
Absolutely. You know, the need grows every year. And so it's so exciting to see companies like Mays come together and support the Salvation Army so that we can have smiling, happy faces on Christmas. That's what it's going to mean. So thank you so much for participating in this year's Angel Tree.
And I believe that there is something else that they want to give you.
Well, of course, it's the season of giving. So super happy to have a donation here from Mays Plastic Surgery.
Oh, wow. This is terrific. This is a big surprise. Thank you so much.
And what is this going to be able to help you do?
It's going to be able to help us help many families that would not have Christmas had it not been for this contribution. So again, thank you. Hopefully your hearts will be warm this Christmas season because of this.
And so many other families are going to feel this gift across Wave Country. Marissa Burke, Wave News.
A great gift right there. Well, let's get into some college hoops action because UK and Indiana men's basketball teams are both playing tonight, and they're both having kind of a rough point in their season so far. So starting with the Cats, they started off the season ranked 9th in the country, but now they have officially fallen out of the top 25 for the first time since January of 2023. Nation not happy about this. They've struggled for much of the season, starting with a 5-4 record with all 4 losses coming to ranked opponents. Now they'll look to get back on track at Rupp Arena as they take on North Carolina Central at 7 o'clock tonight. You can watch that game on SEC Network. As for the IU Hoosiers, historically known as a basketball school, they now have the #1 ranked football team in the country. But the basketball team not even ranked in the top 25. Coming off losses to Minnesota and Louisville, the Hoosiers have fallen out of the top 25 after spending only 2 weeks in the rankings. They'll also look to get back on track tonight. They're hosting Penn State, and you can catch that game on FS1 at 8:30. Well, Kentucky football has entered a new era with head coach Will Stein, and a week after signing with the program, we now know more about his contract. So Stein signed a 5-year deal worth $28.5 million with a contract running through January of 2031 and a starting pay of $5.5 million. That increases $100,000 each year. Stein will also receive performance incentives based off of regular season win milestones, SEC national and national superlatives, SEC titles, and college football playoff participation, with a maximum bonus totaling just over $2 million per season. We also know more about the buyout for former head coach Mark Stoops. He'll receive a severance package totaling $37.68 million through April of 2031. Stoops was officially fired on December 1st, leading to the university to pay him an initial sum of just under $4 million within 15 days of his separation from the school. Stoops will continue to be paid just under $7 million for each contract year. That's paid quarterly until April of 2031. Those payments are not subject to mitigation, meaning the university has to pay him fully. So imagine getting fired from your job and still making millions every year. U of L will retire Junior Bridgman's jersey at the Cards game this Saturday. Bridgman's number 10 jersey will be raised to the rafters during halftime of the men's basketball game against Memphis. It'll be the 6th number retired in program history. Bridgman was a top 30 career scorer for the Cardinals, earning All-American honors in 1975. He led the Cards to the Final Four, and the team will also celebrate the 50th anniversary of that Final Four appearance on Saturday. Bridgman died on March 11th at the age of 71. Tickets for Saturday's game are still available, and U of L is giving out 10,000 commemorative tickets to the fans. Racing Louisville Club legend Laura Millay is extending her stay in the city. The defender, who was set to become a free agent in 2026, has signed a new contract through 2027 and has the option for 2028 that also includes updated terms. With 113 appearances, she's played in more NWSL regular season games than any other player in Racing Louisville history. In a statement, she said in part, quote, "As I've gotten older, the more I've realized that the people and the community are truly what makes a place special. Louisville is home." So glad she found a home here. Well, at the baseball winter meetings, Minor League Baseball announced that Pat Kelly was the winner of the 17th annual Mike Coolbaugh Award. The award is presented annually to the individual who has shown outstanding baseball knowledge, work ethic, and skill in mentoring players in the game. Kelly recently completed his 6th season as the Louisville manager in 2025 and his 19th season working with the Reds organization. In his 6 seasons at the helm, though, he's had a record of 332 and 403. His 332 wins with the Bats ranks 2nd in franchise history. That's all the time we have here for Sunrise Extra. Don't forget about the Angel-a-thon. We'll be talking about it all day, and you have the chance to help out all day. So you can go online and do that, or you can call and you can talk to one of our volunteers here who are over in the other studio, because your gifts just mean so much and they really do make a difference this holiday season. Hope you have a great day.